So it is 4 o'clock. So I will go ahead and call to order this regular meeting of the Operations Planning Committee. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Let's take a look at the minutes before we go into the reports. I've had a chance to go through them, and these are the minutes for our meeting on November 21st. Does anyone have any edits or corrections?
I only missed one tiny word missing. I think it was on Tracy's report. I think it needed the word "be" after "will be assigned," but that was very minor.
Yes, I see it. You're right. I will note that and get that to Linda. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the November 21st minutes as edited? Jill moves, Lori seconds, all in favor? Great, okay. All right, I'll start off. I'll be pretty short since we've had a lot of reports plus the state of the town, plus. So the only thing I want to just formally say is that effective today, our new town administrator for the town of Darien is Jennifer Charneski. She starts full-time in that role today. The Board of Selectmen voted unanimously last night to appoint her to that role. She has been a star for an awfully long time here in town as the Director of Finance, and I'm sure she's going to do even better in the town administrator role. And quite frankly, I'm thrilled beyond words to have her in this capacity. So I'm being completely selfish, but I think I speak for everybody in welcoming her to this great promotion. So Jennifer, congratulations.
Congratulations, Jim.
Congratulations.
Yes, we're excited to have you.
Thank you all very much.
So the only other thing is just a thank you to the RTM. I thought the state of the town addresses went really well last night. It was great to be there with all the new technology where everybody could hear and see, and I thought it went well. So thank you for allowing us to do that and to get our messages out for our respective boards. I think that's an important annual process, so I appreciate it. So I don't have anything else to report since I kind of spilled my guts in my state of the town address, but that was all that was on my mind. And other than Jen's promotion, I don't have anything else to report. So I will move on to Jill.
Okay. I'll echo your thanks to 79, and in particular, Mike Wheeler and Jim Cameron had to go back and adjust my video. So that was extra hours of work that they needed to do. So I'd like to say a double thank you.
Yeah, watching from home.
We just wanted to hear the music. So I don't know.
Yeah, watching from home, we go hearing all the music, but we couldn't hear you really at all.
Yes. So what they've done is they go back. I recorded the beginning of my speech in a voiceover. So if you go to Vimeo and actually watch on Vimeo, you'll see the video with my voice as the voiceover instead, and then it picks up where the music ends and goes back to the normal speech. Thank you, Lori. Yeah. So for anyone who is yet to watch the state of the town, it's easier to watch it through the Vimeo they released afterwards than the YouTube. Okay. And again, thank you to Jim Cameron and Mike Wheeler for working on that. I mentioned in my state of the town, but I'll repeat it here because it bears repeating that we have on enrollment, we have about almost 4,600 students. It's 4,572 enrolled K-12 with another 108 students in ELP. And then we did our most recent enrollment study out to 2034 projected approximately 72 students or 2% in the next 5 years and 120 students over the next 10 years. As the projections go out, between 5 and 10 years, they're not quite as usually as accurate, but it's still a very slow, manageable growth rate. And then for those who may not be sure, when we did actually add enough capacity to handle this growth rate, press a little bit more in our elementary schools. When we run building projects, we use high growth projections, and we used an 8-year high growth projection for Henley Homes and Royal. That's the information we gave to the selectmen. When we actually staff our classrooms and create elementary sections, i.e. assigning students to teachers and classrooms, we use medium growth enrollment projections. So our enrollment is not expected to exceed the capacity being built for Henley Homes and Royal. Oxbridge has had a recent influx of K-5 students over the past couple of years and does run very close to capacity. So the Board of Education and Administration are keeping a very close eye on this. Beyond that, we have a small deficit for the year projected so far, but it's still early in the year, so we're watching it. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the building tour. We moved it to December last year, and we repeated the December date again this year. We are much happier with that as a date. It's a great way for us to see what's coming up in terms of the capital plan. And we're grateful for those who came so that we could share both exciting things about our schools and the work that's to be done. On Friday, Alan sent out in his email the police department's e-bike brochure. So for those of you families who may be considering purchasing or may already have children riding e-bikes, if you're not aware, the police department has put out an e-bike. You can get it directly from the police department website, or it's in Alan's email that went out on Friday. And there are some important rules of the road and rules about e-bikes. So I am, as a parent of someone in the traditional e-bike category, I'm very grateful for the police department for doing that work on behalf of the community and getting it out to everyone. Lastly, I'll leave with an exciting statement that our holiday concert is tomorrow night. It's a great way to see this wonderful musicians that we have in our district, and of course to see the beautiful auditorium that's a background for those musicians. The video wall, which was donated by the Darien Foundation, is at the back of that auditorium and is often used for scenery or other concert type effects, in addition to many other things, including supporting plays and classes. But the holiday concert is a great opportunity to see a lot of different things about our district at work. There's a lot to celebrate. And with that, I'll wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, and happy everything else.
Thank you, Jill. Much appreciated. The schools tour actually was exceptional. I have to say, there's something about it this year in terms of just everything we saw, the organization flow. That was great. Thank you for setting that up. So really, really terrific.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Sure. Tracy.
Thanks. Looks like I wasn't on mute after all. Thank you very much. Congrats on another great state of the town for everybody that presented. And welcome, Jen. I look forward to working with you. We just, not too much going on quite yet, but we did get committee assignments. So I will be continuing on public health, transportation, and I was appointed ranking on education and technology. Well, it's obviously that's a hot topic right now. So it's going to be a really busy session looking forward. I am also, because clearly I'm not busy enough, co-chairing the prescription drug task force, which is happening right now. There are 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, 2 senators and 2 House members. So it is bicameral, bipartisan, and we are having regular conversations this week. It's every day for 2 hours, looking at PBMs, looking at drug pricing, looking at importation and shortages, and the practice of pharmacy and making sure we don't have pharmacy deserts. So it's a lot of information, and we have a very, very large task force that has come together. But so far it's been very productive. So we'll see what happens with that. We're trying to get a lot of information out. This will just be for about 2.5 months. And then session starts January 8th. And we hope to have recommendations going into session on some things that can be done. Obviously, some things are done at the federal level. A lot should be done at the federal level, but there are things that we can do on the state level as well. And that's one of the things we're talking about. And my last information that I have to bring forward is the bond commission is meeting on the 20th of this month. And on that bond commission, they will be voting for $500,000 to go to bonding for flood mitigation for the town of Darien. So I'm hopeful
Just in general, or for application to a specific project like we talked?
It'll be for the salt box, which is I think the first one that you were planning on putting forward.
Okay, so you did get all the information you need from us. Great. That's tremendous news. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I expect once it's on the agenda that it should be smooth sailing. But we have just a couple more days before that meeting. So hopefully we get really good news out of that. So, and that's all I've got. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you again for allowing me to come to your meeting.
Tremendous. Thank you so much. Lori.
Okay, thank you. Parks and Rec Commission is meeting this evening. We have shortened agenda in that we're only going to be discussing the operating capital budgets and discussing proposed increases to fees tonight. So we're going to dispense with a lot of the normal committee reports so we can just focus on that work and get it done. So we're working on the budget kind of two ways. Jen Fava has proposed some fee increases to, beach stickers, court use, various things of that nature. She's taken a look at them, having joined us from the town of Westport. She felt that we probably were not quite where we needed or should be, and haven't really moved the fees up more in tandem with, what it's costing us to run the different properties and such. So the commission will be discussing that tonight. That piece we won't vote on until January. But then we'll be talking about the operating budget and then also the capital project budget. So then we'll be getting that ready to present to Jen and the Board of Selectmen in January. Not too much else. That's really it. I mean, the one thing I would mention that we have proposed in that budget is what's Jen's referring to as a financial sustainability strategy. And I think, John, we mentioned it to you, and I would assume she's mentioned it to Gen C, which is a combination of a consultant and a software package, which would help Jen really fine tune and really track what it costs the town to deliver all of the park services, which can be a little nebulous sometimes, and then lead us into making decisions on what level of cost recovery we might want. And what they did in Westport is, certain services, they would say, this really should be effectively in terms of like a user cost, free to the public, versus something else. You might say, no, this is a very specific service and the user should pay 100% of the cost. So then that would lead us into developing that kind of framework. So it would make it easier for us year to year to really think about, what we should be charging fees for and how much, where now it's been very much kind of like a feel and looking out what other towns are doing. So I'm sure we'll have discussion about that as we go through the budget process. But I think as we're seeing more usage of the park and demand on the different services, that it's something we have to, I think get tighter and probably more proficient in really being able to articulate what it costs to deliver park services to the public. So we'll be talking about that more. That's pretty much it. It's really budget focused right at this moment.
Okay. Your meeting's at 7:30 tonight?
Yes, in the auditorium.
I've got another meeting I've got to go to, but I will come to your meeting. I will be
Yep.
able to meet them.
Yep.
Okay. Lois, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for the presentations on to the RTM. They were very well received and very informative, and we're really grateful for the time and effort that you all put in and informing us as a great kickoff to our year and starting, the new session. As far as open seats go, because that's been an issue this year, we only have 6 open seats out of the 100, so we're really in good shape. We're getting there. I'm sure they'll be filled shortly, but and a lot of new people. So we really are looking at things a little differently and trying how do we make sure that people understand how the RTM works, how the town works, and things like that. So we're going to be putting a little effort into those kinds of things. For pending business, I don't know how many of you heard, but the Appendix B is the legal document that effectively manages our the RTM and the town. It's part of the town charter. And there are several things that we've seen. The first approach to it that we're working on now is the committee definitions are very outdated. We haven't really looked at it in a very long time. So we're working on, and we're getting pretty close to finishing that, of the descriptions of all the different committees and what they're responsible for. And then there's another document called the scope document, which actually looks at all the different committees in town and makes sure that our committees know which ones we're covering and things like that. In addition, having looked at Appendix B, we've discovered that a number of places where some of our customs don't match up to what's in Appendix B, and some of the things need revision. So that's the next step after we get the committees done. So several of our groups are really working on that. That mostly affects the RTM because we vote on it, but thought you would all be interested to know that that's a major step that we're working on. another thing, and this is, of course, is the technology, because that's where I spend my time. Part of my time anyway. The auditorium, as you see, we're thrilled with the auditorium, and the money came out of ARPA, and it makes a huge difference, as you all see. And we still have a lot to learn. We're there, but we're just delighted that that was able to happen and it got done. A different angle on technology is that when the town website was recreated, there was differences on how the historical information was saved. For example, the Board of Ed has posted information back to 2015, but the town side has like 2 or 3 years information, which is difficult for us when when something comes up, we always need to go back and research everything. So what we're starting to do now is, it's a project for next year or the beginning of the year, is to look at what do we need, how are ways we can get it, and because it's not up there now, and what, are there other ways, new creative ideas of getting it, or do we need to try and get it all back up there, or what, or is it even available, or how do you do it? I know the information, I'm not saying the information is lost, because my understanding is the information is available in each different department, but the question is, how do we get access to it and things like that.
Is that just for the RTM, Lois, or just across the board?
It would be across the board. We're talking
Okay.
about it available publicly.
Yeah, I mean, that would be helpful, because I know that with Parks and Rec stuff, sometimes I go back and I'm trying to find something, and you're right, you only can go back
Very little.
a few years, and I was trying to get a TV 79 video, and it had dropped off, and Jim Cameron, in his usual fabulous way, was able to find it and clip it and get it back to me, but it took some doing, it took reaching out to him and him doing some searching.
So thank you, Laura, because TV 79 has things, because not only do they have a long history of their data, but the library actually has, I think it's CDs or something, of things going back a very, very long time, but we'll incorporate that. I mean, I know that from looking at it, but I think we'll incorporate that as part of our discussions on, include that there, because I know that that's available. I think the real issue not only is accessibility, is the ability to search and find things.
Yes. And I know Jim's talked about using AI for that, at least with 279, so you could go in and, put in a park or whatever it is you're looking for and delving into it.
We're working on that. There are, on a very simple level, it sounds great. If you get more specific, depends on the sources and things like that. But yes, you understand why we're trying to do it and what we're going to do, and we'll see where it goes. And we also want to do it with minimal impact, but we want to make sure there are answers when you need something or we need something, that we can get it. Or
it'd be very helpful.
Or who to go to help. It was interesting to note that the Board of Ed had stuff up from 2015, so that was great. That one section is taken care of, and I think that's about it from, and the other, obviously the big thing that we're doing now is the participating in the budget conversations, and joining you all, and appreciate, your openness and involvement with these things as we all work on the budget for next year. So with that, I say congratulations, Jen. Happy holidays, everybody, and thank you for including me.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for stepping in, Lois. Happy to have you join this group in his place anytime. So appreciate it. All right, I think that's it, since Jim is not here and Steve mentioned he would not be here. So if no one has anything else, Tracy, please.
When Lori started mentioning about Parks and Rec stuff, reminded me, I will be doing a legislative update. The representatives will be on January 14th. So, and it will be at the auditorium, which is what reminded me about Parks and Rec. But I'll send out more information about that later.
Okay. And are you going to be at the legislative meeting in Ridgefield tomorrow?
I'm not I wasn't planning on it. I don't know which one that is.
Okay, I'll tell you separately about that. Okay. I think that's all for this meeting, unless anyone has anything else. All right, motion to adjourn. Jill, and second from Lori. All in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Holidays.